completely forgot what I was going to say.
We can do it again. That's the beauty of it. We're not live.
My name is Alina Adams. I was born in Odessa, USSR. I wrote 2 books set in the Soviet Union. My daughter was born in America. I'm going to tell her about the Soviet experience through books.
This week's book for understanding the Soviet Union, The Blumkin Project, a biographical novel.
Oh, big words.
Big words, I know.
Wait, he was executed?
Yes.
How was the main character? Wait, the main character is executed?
Okay, well, here's the thing. This is actually, the Blumkin Project is about Yakov Blumkin, so he's the character that's being written about, but the author, Christian Salmon, is the one who's doing the research on it, so he's still alive, as far as I know.
Okay, wait, so he's a terrorist and an assassin?
Yes, in fact, let's read from the back of this, Yakov Blumkin claimed to have 9 lives. Born to a poor Jewish family and orphaned as a child, he was a socialist revolutionary, a terrorist, the assassin of the German ambassador Wilhelm von Mirbach, a poet close to the avant-garde, a member of Cheka, a military strategist, a secret agent, and Leon Trotsky's secretary. Allegedly.
Who would win in a fight? Him or Black Widow?
Oh, well, Black Widow, because as we saw in the last movie, when she falls down like 9 stories, she just gets a little boo-boo and then she puts a Band-Aid on it. I think even Mr. Blumkin probably couldn't have done that. But on the other hand, he was from Odessa, and they're very tough in Odessa, whereas we don't know exactly where Black Widow was from, but I bet it was like Moscow or something.
Yakov Blumkin seems like a lot of things. I see he's an anarchist. Is that the same now as it was then?
You know, that's actually a really good question. I didn't even think about that when I was reading it. When I was reading it, all I could think about was your brother, who, as you know, is an anarchist. And I was reading, he sounds a lot like Yakov Blumkin. And Yakov Blumkin had some interesting adventures before he was assassinated. But I was reading it as hoping, anarchists are interesting. But that's a really good question. I didn't think about the fact is what was an anarchist then? Is it an anarchist now? So now you've made me go back and I'm going to have to reread the whole book and worry about your brother all over again. I hope you're happy.
You said he was from Odessa.
Right.
I know.
Just like I'm from Odessa. Well, not we.
Not we.
You're kind of genetically.
If you go far back enough on your line.
I was saying if we go far back enough, you're from Odessa. Okay. I am from Odessa. And this is actually something that I was thinking when I was reading this. And, obviously I've been thinking a lot about Odessa because of the last year, and especially the last few weeks. And this is actually a metaphor that I thought of that I explained to your dad. You know how your dad is like a crazy New Yorker, like New York is it, there's no other place in the world. I was actually thinking about how people who live in New York, they think of themselves as New Yorkers before they think of themselves as Americans. At least I think so. And I think that's something that you get in Odessa too, at least in my experience. People from Odessa think of themselves as Odessit before they think whether it's Ukraine or the Soviet Union or anything else. So it's interesting how through this book that vibe about Odessa being a unique New York-like place came through. So I enjoyed that too.
It says it's translated. What language was it translated from?
That's an excellent question. Now you're making me look that up because I don't even remember. I read it. I swear I read it, but I don't think I paid much attention. Oh, French. So look at that. It says right there, translated from the French. And that's actually something that concerns me because I always feel something translated. I wonder what was lost in translation. Like, I know the people who translate aren't just literally translating. It's not like Babelfish or Google or you in school just literally translating it. But I feel like no matter how well something is translated, and it says translated by William, it's hard to make out the name, but I know translators are very important, so I want to make sure I give them the credit. William, what do you think that says?
Rodarmor. Amor, like
Rodarmor. Yes.
Rodarmor.
Well, I think it's very well translated because it read fluently. I didn't feel like, sometimes things translated, they feel a little bit awkward. But this was very well translated. But I still feel no matter how well it's done, I don't get 100% of the original novel because I'm sure the original author had some nuances and some connotations in the words that just no one, because they can't read their mind, can't pick up. So while there's no problem in reading this novel in translation, I do still feel I lost something.
So you gotta learn French now.
No.
Okay, now.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. Let's go. Is this like a day read or like a month read? Like you're going to sit down, you're going to read in a day, or is it dense?
You're not. It's dense. That's actually a very good question. It's sort of like diving underwater and then you feel water being piled on top of you and it gets too much and you have to break through and get some air. So this is definitely not a one-sitting read.
Pacing-wise, we got medium, fast, slow.
So considering it covers a guy's whole life, it has to jump around. It's like, oh, now it's a year later and we're in a different country. So from that point of view, the pacing's definitely quick.
Love that.
Me too. Well, we both have a short attention span. It's genetic from Odessa, perhaps.
Last question. How much historical knowledge do we need to have before we read this?
It would be nice to know that there was a country called the Soviet Union. It would be nice to know that before there was a Soviet Union, there was another country. It would be nice to know that after the Soviet Union, there was another country. It would be nice to know when you read that he was the assassin of the German ambassador, to know what Germany is, where Germany is, the fun that Germany would bring to the 20th century, but it's not necessary. You can just take it at face value. There was a country called the Soviet Union, there was a country called Russia, there was a country named Germany. Here's what Jakob Blumkin did in those countries. So it adds to your experience, but not knowing doesn't take away from your experience.